Hey everybody, it's Lex, Riot Backpack, and Riot, and welcome to Idaho. Now, if you're looking for some nomad-spiration, this video is definitely gonna be for you. If you like food, if you like wildlife, you're gonna love Idaho. Okay, so in the last video, I showed you where I was in Montana, I was in Glacier, and I spent all day in Glacier, which means I got home rather late. And it's always trippy to go back to your camp spot in the dark. And I think something that people like about having an all-in-one rig like a van or a Class C RV is that they have everything with them. But I still like being able to come home. But it is one of those things that when you see that your trailer is still there, granted, I take lots of security measures and I'll link a video where I talk about a lot of those up here, but it is still some sort of sense of relief when you come back to your camp spot and you realize everything is just as you left it. Now, I am a more frugal person, so I don't tend to go out to eat very often. However, I am traveling with some company that really enjoys going out to eat at restaurants. And so I have been indulging that a little bit more. That also means that I've had to rein in my budget in other areas in order to compensate, but I have to admit I have really, really enjoyed the experiences. Something that I'm trying to integrate into this third year of full-time travel as a lifestyle is experiencing local culture a little bit more and allowing myself to have a little bit more fun. Now, later in today's video, I'm going to talk about something that I'm doing to advance my career. But before we go into that, let's take a peek at some of the food that I have been enjoying and somehow still losing weight despite it. I think that has more to do with all the hiking I'm doing to compensate, but I have to admit, and maybe some of you vegans out there will be mad at this, but since I've integrated meat back into my diet, I seem to be losing weight, and I can't really explain it. I would assume that more fat would mean I would be more fat, but seems to be the opposite. And it all starts with this bison burger. So the first restaurant I'm going to show you in today's video is Frida's Bar. It's in West Glacier, right outside of Glacier National Park, and the food was absolutely delicious. I had the bison burger, and their outside seating meant that Riot was able to enjoy it with me. Now, naturally, the most frugal way to consume your food is to cook it yourself at home. And as promised in this video, I'm going to show you some of the things that I do make myself that are really easy to make on the road, off-grid, and here's one of my favorite go-tos. We have onion, green onion, bacon bits, and cheese. Hey, how's it going? After a long day of travel and finding a new boondocking spot, I'm usually pretty famished. And I want something comforting so I can kind of cozy up, enjoy the new camp spot, and then pretty much pass out and go to sleep. And the next recipe and dinner idea is exactly that. We're gonna drain the mac and cheese water into the dog water bowl. Right, you can't have that all. She'll drink the whole bowl, so now I have to section that into smaller bowls so she doesn't, have to pee all night. Okay, and now we're gonna make some meat. This is so much harder to do one-handed. powwow. Okay, and next you want to stab the meat into crumbles. Ugh. Remind me to tell you guys what happened to my interior lights, why they don't work anymore. Add it to the list of things I gotta redo this winter. Mac and cheese, to the chicken sausage, onions and garlic. Just a sprinkling of bacon bits. Hey! Nuh-uh! Next, I'm going to bring you into Yellowstone National Park, where I was able to see, of course, all of the amazing, majestic beauty that it had to hold. There were a ton of bison. I did see one black bear. I didn't get footage of it because it was like inside of a berry bush on the side of the road. Not really an opportune time for me to stop and pull out my camera. Even though people did, you're really only supposed to stop in the pullout areas and not be a jackass and bind up traffic. So I did my best not to be a jackass as much as possible. So I did not get footage of the bear, but I did get a lot of other really great footage, particularly of the bison and the geysers. And it seemed a little morose, but I did eat more bison after viewing bison at the park. And here's what that looked like. The restaurant by Old Faithful is kind of cafeteria style, but they did have bison meatloaf, which was pretty tasty. And then I had it with baked beans and corn and coleslaw. It was absolutely delicious. And I was able to eat it while waiting for Old Faithful to go off, which was pretty cool. Back at camp, we had a visitor. Now, if your dog isn't friendly, this is something you absolutely need to be aware of and to keep an eye on your dog pretty much at all times, because as you've seen in the last several videos, we have run into a lot of loose dogs. This one was super friendly. His name is Sid. He had a tag on and I was able to call his owner, who came down and swooped him up, but his owner's campsite was more than a quarter mile away. So this guy in bear country got pretty far away from his camp. Now, the dad did explain that they have a 6-year-old son that is kind of mindless and lets the dog out of the RV to go wander whenever he goes out to wander, which leaves me a question why the dog and the 6-year-old are unmonitored, but neither here nor there. This is Sid, and he was cute as hell. and his owner did come to pick him up. But be aware that loose dogs are very much a reality in a lot of boondocking spots, even ones like this one, which are pretty remote. And after our fluffy little visitor came, I went out to a local bar. Now, a lot of you know that I do not drink anymore, and I am proud to say that I have visited quite a few bars and restaurants in my travels. And while every once in a while I have in the back of my head, it would be nice to have a gin and tonic or something like that, I am able to control myself. Every once in a while, it's a little more strugglesome than other times, but I think, if you have a sponsor, you can always reach out to them. There is online AA. There's actually one on the server called Discord. You can join and hop in to live AA groups anytime that you might need, or you feel like you might have a moment of vulnerability. And because, so many people fail in recovery, if you feel weak at all, I just wouldn't recommend going into a bar and restaurant, no matter how good the restaurant. However, in this case, this Buffalo bar was really good. I was able to control my temptations. There was a lot of taxidermy on the walls, and for those of you that don't know, that is a passion of mine. If anyone ever wants to take me on as a taxidermy apprentice, I will show up and learn with bells and whistles on. It is something that I really would like to pursue at some point of my life. I just haven't had the opportunity. Now here I had a burger. It was absolutely delicious and divine. And if you are in West Yellowstone, I can't recommend going to the Buffalo Bar enough. The servers are awesome, the atmosphere is awesome, and the food is absolutely delicious. Now, given that I'm eating meat again, there is a little bit of irony that I am camping around a ton of cows. And these cows are such gentle souls. They're absolutely beautiful. They're friendly. They come right up into camp. They shit everywhere, which isn't maybe the friendliest thing, but they don't mean it in an antagonistic way. They just have to shit. So something to be mindful of when you're boondocking in areas that are also serve as grazing ground. There's going to be a lot of cow poop. Some dogs like to eat cow poop, so be prepared for that. Riot thankfully doesn't, but my old lab used to go to town on cow poop and goose poop, and I would constantly be having to monitor him and call him off. So just be ready for that, and also be ready to make friends with cows and feel a little weird, guilty, and remorseful if you also eat them like I do again now. Now, as I mentioned, there's a lot of animals that I have encountered that I have also consumed as food, which seems really effed up to me in a lot of ways, but I have, for whatever reason, fully re-embraced eating meat. I have to say, I feel more energetic. I've obviously lost weight. Again, thank you for those that have noticed. And I don't know, it's more fun to cook. There's a lot of perks. I've gone almost 20 years without, and reintegrating it, I feel like a new person in a lot of ways. But here's an animal that walked right through camp or right near camp and is one that I have not consumed yet, and it's a moose. Now, as I mentioned before, and I've mentioned in other videos, the way that I get by on the road is as a freelance writer, which has done me pretty well, and I've had some stability with it and some instability with it. I do have some career history in it, but I want more confidence, so I'm putting myself back through school. A lot of people are nervous about becoming a nomad, even though the adventures are just sublime. The lifestyle is incredible. You get to see all these things. You obviously get to eat at amazing places. And I just feel so much more fulfilled in my life in this lifestyle. But one of the things we all worry about is making money. Can I have a career? Can I have a sustainable life on the road? And so something that I'm going to be showing in my upcoming videos is how I'm making that end of it work. I'm going to talk about a little bit more. I'm hoping to run into more digital nomads that I can introduce you guys to, because I think one of the worst things that you can have in life in general, no matter what lifestyle you choose, is a set of limiting beliefs. And in our current era, not only can you put yourself through school online, which means you can travel and go through education like I'm currently doing, but you can work online like I'm currently doing. You can have side hustles like YouTube. You can do all sorts of things supporting yourself or working for companies that allow you to work remotely. So what this little bit is just to say, don't fear, just do research, and if you feel like you lack certain qualifications, there is education that you can put yourself through. One of the best investments you can make is investing in yourself, which is why I use some of my savings to put myself back through school. So I want to encourage anyone out there that really wants this travel lifestyle, that sees me eating all this delicious food and going to these cool places and wonders, wow, I wish I could do that, but I don't have the money. You can get a job online. I recently had an Instagram post. I started an Instagram. If you're interested, make sure you follow us there, Lux and Riot. But I had an Instagram post where I recently had a job interview that I turned down. It really wasn't for me. But in the post, I talked about the fact that just having my resume on Indeed, I've been solicited by several companies to come work for them. They weren't really fits that I want to, I won't really get into it. They weren't really companies that were were a good fit for me. But the point is that the jobs are out there. So that really excites me because I don't want to give up this lifestyle because I was too lazy, too insecure, or too unqualified to find work. There's workarounds for all of those. And so online education is one of them, and that is something that I'm currently pursuing. And if you feel that you need, I would encourage you to look into courses to increase your qualifications, to make sure that you're employable even for remote jobs, so that you control the destiny that you want to have and you don't let factors control your destiny. You're not a victim. You can empower yourself, and I highly encourage you to do so in whatever capacity you see fit. So that's my little tirade there. I'm super thrilled to be living this life, and I hope that you got some nomad-spiration out of today's video, and you go enjoy some of the restaurants that I was able to enjoy. And hopefully you have the results that I have, because I can't believe that I'm losing weight despite everything I'm eating. But thank you so much for watching. If you got something out of this video, please click the like button. It really helps the algorithm so that more people see that they can live the life that they want to. Consider subscribing if you like travel videos, and again, you want some more nomad-spiration. And thank you so much for watching. We look forward to seeing you next time.